Om. 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 Prayers and meditations. December 5th, 1916. Thou hast granted me the grace of thy repose, in which all individual limits are dissolved, in which one is in all and more clearly still and is in oneself. But the mind, merged in this divine ecstasy, cannot yet find any power of expression. Factual notation of the experience. Turn towards the earth, the usual injunction was heard in the silence of the immutable identification. Then the consciousness became that of the one in all, everywhere and in all those in whom thou canst see the one. There will awake the consciousness of this identity with the divine. Look, it was a Japanese street brilliantly illuminated by gay lanterns, picturesquely adorned with vivid colors. And as gradually what was conscious moved on down the street, the divine appeared, visible in everyone and everything. One of the lightly built houses became transparent, revealing a woman seated on a tatami in a sumptuous violet kimono embroidered with gold and bright colors. The woman was beautiful and must have been between 35 and 40. She was playing a golden samisen. At her feet lay a little child, and in the woman too the divine was visible. The goal, words of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. The aim set before our yoga is nothing less than to hasten the supreme object of our existence here. Its process leaves behind the ordinary tardy method of slow and confused growth through the evolution of nature. For the natural evolution is at its best an uncertain growth under cover, partly by the pressure of the environment, partly by a groping education and an ill lighted purposeful effort. and only partially illumined, and of automatic use of opportunities with many blunders and lapses and relapses. A great portion of it is made up of apparent accidents and circumstances and vicissitudes, though veiling a secret divine intervention and guidance. In yoga, we replace this confused, crooked crab motion by a rapid, conscious, and self directed evolution which is planned to carry us as far as can be in a straight line towards the goal set before us. Savitri, page 322, and I kindly request just close your eyes and concentrate on the words which I read and meditate with your eyes closed so that you can have the feel of the reading and it will be very helpful. Line 205. Then suddenly there came a downward look, as if a sea exploring its own depths. A living oneness widened at its core and joined him to unnumbered multitudes. A bliss, a light, a power, a flame white love, caught all into a soul immense embrace. Existence found its truth on oneness breast, and each became the self and space of all. The great world rhythms were heartbeats of one soul. To feel was a flame discovery of God. All mind was a single harp of many strings. All life a song of many meeting lives. For worlds were many, but the self was one. This knowledge now was made a cosmos seed. This seed was cased in the safety of the light. It needed not a sheath of ignorance. Then, from the trance of that tremendous clasp, and from the throbbings of that single heart, and from the naked spirit's victory, a new and marvelous creation rose. Incalculable outflowing infinitudes, laughing out an unmeasured happiness, lived their innumerable unity, worlds where the being is unbound and wide, bodied unthinkably the egoless self, rapture of beatific energies, join time to the timeless, poles of a single joy. White vasts were seen, where all is wrapped in all. There were no contraries, no sundered parts. All, by spiritual links, were joined to all and bound indissolubly to the One. Each was unique, but took all lives as his own. And, following out these tones of the infinite, recognized in himself the universe, a splendid center of infinity's world, pushed to its zenith's height, its last expanse, felt the divinity of its own self bliss, repeated in its numberless other selves. It took up tirelessly into its scope persons and figures of the impersonal, as if prolonging in a ceaseless count, in a rapturous multiplication sum, the recurring decimals of eternity. None was apart, none lived for himself alone. Each lived for God in him, and God in all. Each soulness inexpressibly held the whole. Their oneness was not tied to monotone. It showed a thousand aspects of itself, its calm, immutable stability upbore on a changeless ground, forever safe, compelled to a spontaneous servitude, the ever changing incalculable steps, the seeming reckless dance's subtle plan of immense world forces in their perfect play. Appearance looked back to its hidden truth and made of difference oneness, smiling play. It made all persons fractions of the unique, yet all were beings, secret integers. All struggle was turned to a sweet strife of love in the harmonized circle of a sure embrace. Identity's reconciling happiness gave a rich security to difference. On a meeting line of hazardous extremes, the game of games was played to its breaking point, where through self finding by divine self laws there leaps out unity's supreme delight, whose blissful, undivided sweetness feels a communality of the Absolute. There was no sob of suffering anywhere. Experience ran from point to point of joy. Bliss was the pure, undying truth of things. All nature was a conscious friend of God, a wisdom worked in all, self moved, self sure, a plenitude of illimitable light, an authenticity of intuitive truth, a glory and passion of creative force, infallible, leaping from eternity. The moment's thought inspired the passing act. A word, a laughter sprang from silence breast, a rhythm of beauty in the calm of space, a knowledge in the fathomless heart of time. All turn to all without reserves recoil, a single ecstasy without a break. Love was a close and thrilled identity in the throbbing heart of all that luminous life, a universal vision that unites, a sympathy of nerve replying to nerve, hearing that listens to thought's inner sound and follows the rhythmic meanings of the heart, and touch that needs not hands to feel, to clasp, were there the native means of consciousness and heighten the intimacy of soul with soul. A grand orchestra of spiritual powers, a diffusion of soul interchange, harmonized, a oneness deep, immeasurable. In these new worlds projected, he became a portion of the universal gaze, a station of the all inhabiting light, a ripple on a single sea of peace. His mind answered to countless communing minds. His words were syllables of the cosmos speech. His life a field of the vast cosmic stir. He felt the footsteps of a million wills moving in unison to a single goal, a stream ever newborn that never dies, caught in its thousandfold currents' ravishing flow, with eddies of immortal sweetness thrilled, he bore coiling to his members as they passed, calm movements of interminable delight, the bliss of myriad myriads who are one. Life Divine, the Human Aspiration, page 6. For all problems of existence are essentially problems of harmony. They arise from the perception of an unsolved discord and the instinct of an undiscovered agreement or unity. To rest content with an unsolved discord is possible for the practical and more animal part of man, but impossible for his fully awakened mind, and usually even his practical parts only escape from the general necessity either by shutting out the problem or by accepting a rough utilitarian and unillumined compromise. For essentially, all nature seeks a harmony, life, in the arrangement of its perceptions. The greater the apparent disorder of the materials offered, or the apparent disparateness, even to irreconcilable opposition of the elements that have to be utilized, the stronger is the spur, and it drives towards a more subtle and poisoned order than can normally be the result of a less difficult endeavor. The accordance of active life with the material of form, in which the condition of activity itself seems to be inertia, is one problem of opposites that nature has solved and seeks always to solve better with greater complexities. For its perfect solution would be the material immortality of a fully organized mind supporting animal body. The accordance of conscious mind and conscious will with a form and a life in themselves, not overtly self conscious and capable at best of a mechanical or subconscious will, is another problem of opposites in which she has produced astonishing results and aims always at higher marvels. For there her ultimate miracle would be an animal consciousness no longer seeking, but possessed of truth and light, with the practical omnipotence which would result from the possession of a direct and perfected knowledge. Not only then is the upward impulse of man towards the accordance of yet higher opposites rational in itself, but it is the only logical completion of a rule and an effort that seem to be a fundamental method of nature and the very sense of our universal strivings. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arvindaya. We offer this prayer to all the aspirants of Auroville who worked for Auroville, who are working for Auroville, who will work for Auroville, and the people around the world. We dedicate the prayers to the feet of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Thanks for being with us. Greetings from Auroville.